25 meeting of the Culver Town Council. I'd like to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded and your participation is your consent to be rebroadcast on the town's YouTube channel. If you have any electronic devices, please put them on airplane mode or turn them off. Roll call, please.
William Clevenger.
Present.
Justin Croy.
Present.
Jenny Monroe.
Here.
Dana Neer.
Here.
Elder Chardy.
Present here. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes of the January 9th, 2025 regular meeting. Any additions or corrections to the minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Who made the motion, please? Mr. Neer.
I've got it on my phone. Might as well see if you can watch it.
Mr. Neer moves, Mr. Shardy seconds. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Next item is the public concern utility ordinance violation and appeals. Anyone in the room? Or any of that? Anyone online? New business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dwayne. I'm sorry.
You can hang up on your phone if you want and listen to it through there.
Oh. How'd you find?
Like the council, I have a person type. Thoughts. Bill Wallace, about a 29-year veteran with Sheriff's Department, Clark County. Very well trained, very familiar with our community, county. After, I guess, any questions if you have, but
I think that's great, Dwayne.
a good addition.
Are you looking at a motion to authorize you to extend an offer
Yes.
to?
He'll probably start the 17th of next month.
I'll make the motion to authorize Wayne to extend an offer to the officer, Mr. Wallace.
Ms. Monroe moves to extend an offer to Officer Wallace,
I'll second it.
second by Mr. Croy. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign. Hey, you have anything else, Wayne?
No,
Oh, congratulations.
thank you.
Okay, on to new business. Open the bids for a street sweeper.
Okay, we have two bids here. Are there any other bids? Yeah. All right.
The street sweeper or the?
It's street sweeper first and then
Oh,
big
It's
night
like-
tonight.
oh,
Big night.
Okay. This says Ben Smith. It has a phone number. And it says $750. Is that for the street sweeper?
What does it say on the outside?
Broom, it's a broom.
Okay, so it was clipped together with this other one that says sweeper bid,
It
and
might
then this
be
one
for
just
the-
says Elgin Pelican.
That's the street sweeper, okay.
That's the street
Okay.
sweeper.
All right, so that's a bid.
$750. Okay. All right. Ben Smith, $750. Next is Zaner Excavating Inc. And theirs is purchase street sweeper, $5,000. Zaner Excavating Inc., $5,000.
These were just to be disposed of, right? So
Yeah.
I'm assuming Bob would want us to accept the highest bid, or
I would,
do we want to get Bob's input to make sure that that's acceptable to him?
You there, Bob?
That's acceptable. Sell them at high bid.
Thank you, Bob.
Didn't seem to have any other conditions or strings attached to it, just $5,000. So looks good.
I'll make a motion to approve of selling the street sweeper to Zaner Excavating for the total of $5,000.
Ms. Monroe moves to tender the street sweeper to Painter for $5,000.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Shardy. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Okay,
Okay, and next there are three for surplus ATV. Okay, the first one is from Jamie Morrison for $1,277. $1,277 from Jamie Morrison. Okay, next is Grant Monroe for $1,600. Grant Monroe, $1,600. And last is Josh Smith for $650.50. $650.50, Josh Smith.
Knowing my spouse bid on this, I am recusing myself from the whole process.
Did you know your spouse bid on this?
Yes, I discouraged it.
Bob, any thoughts?
I thought that one would come in higher, but no, I'm okay with it.
What was the high bid again?
$1,600, Grant Monroe.
Motion to accept the bid for $1,600. Mr. Neer,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Shardy. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Staying.
And Ms. Monroe abstains.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
Opposed,
please,
no.
like that.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank
Okay, next is a resolution 2025-002. Execute INDOT agreement.
I'm asking council tonight to authorize Bob Porter, our utility supervisor, to act on behalf of the town as we move into the CCMG grant for Lakeshore Drive, to be able to execute contracts in our name. We've done it in the past. You're previously familiar with it, I'm sure. This one's going to require the full council signature. So ask for the approval tonight.
Make the motion to authorize Bob as our INDOT signatory for contracts within that. Is that a good way of putting it? Yeah, and pass resolution 2025/002.
Ms. Monroe moves to authorize Bob as the signatory for resolution 2025-002. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Croy. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Okay.
Good signature. While we're on the topic, Mr. President, if I can get the authorization, with the community matching grant, we need a letter of commitment that will match 25% of local funds towards it. 75% will be the grant. The total amount is $337,270.25. Doing the math there roughly, I believe we come down to, pretty close to $84,317.50. This just requires President Clevenger's signature, and it will be sent just to show that we are committed to the 25% matching. So I ask the council for approval of that.
Bill, I know the grant requires the match, but I would like to recuse myself from voting on this because I know that our firm has done work on that project.
All right, thank you, Jenny.
Mhm.
May I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Mr. Neer moves. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Shardy. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Ms. Monroe abstains.
I'll put it over here for your signature after.
Okay.
Thank you. That's it for the resolution and letter. Thank you.
Okay. Boards and commission reports. Technical review. Mr. Dorsey.
Not quite in that order, but I'll give you my December report and all that other stuff. December was slow. So December of 2024, building permits applied for, there were 4. We had 15 in December. Fees for building permits and improvement location applications. This is the total for building permits, fence and roof permits, and BZA and plan commission. Culver received $850 in December. We had $1,590 in November. January is looking much better on building permits only so far. And we have like $8,700 for January, just kind of a look ahead. That's 8 building permits. Two of them are the majority of that money, and those are for the dunes. So for the zoning ordinance update, this is behind. I don't have an update yet. Do you have an update on that?
Getting close.
Okay. Solar ordinance draft is near completion. I request the town council's permission to have Attorney Cerisi put the solar ordinance and the battery energy storage system into a final draft form. There is urgency for this as our current ordinance is under a moratorium, which states said moratorium shall last until the earlier date of either 2 years from the section's adoption or 270 days following the Indiana Department of Environmental Management's issuance of its report on the decommissioning and disposal of solar panels and related components, which include the examination and decommissioning and disposal of such leased equipment located on property not owned or leased by the leasee, which was mandated to be completed no later than October 1st, 2024 by the 2023 Indiana Senate Enrolled Act 33. The final report for Senate Enrolled Act 33 came out on October 1st, 2024. Seems like this starts the clock for us. This is when the clock starts, which it does. we'll need our ordinances by April, so the plan commission and the town council can approve and finalize by June. I know you don't need I think you need I know you'll need a motion to say yes to, I think you will, to say yes to, have Attorney Cerisi approve this. Again, this includes our battery energy storage system ordinance as well. So you know, June will be the 6 months, which is a shorter term for this. July would be the 2 years. June is the 6 months for the Senate Enrolled Act 33. So our clock's ticking on this.
All right.
So the commission or our solar energy team has worked and we've got a nice draft put together. But we need an attorney's skill set to finalize this for us. So
I would assume that the work that I've been doing on the overall zoning ordinance is, mainly just legal compliance and cleanup kind of things. That my anticipation is that once I deliver that to you, that there's going to be a long, maybe 6 or more months process of discussions between the council and the plan commission of reviewing and adding other substantive changes that people would like to see. But this would be something that I think we would pull out and try to fast track in advance of however long that the overall process takes to try to get some regulation. Since they've already done through the substantive work, it would just need me, putting it in a format that would work for the ordinance.
So that's my request, is to have Sean put that together for us.
Question not related to solar, but on the zoning ordinance updates, we talked about earlier in our work session tonight, our Main Street vacant buildings, et cetera. And there was conversation with the unsafe building committee, I want to say about right before Kevin came on, I think a couple months before Kevin came on, as I was exiting as town manager. We talked about creating a vacant building ordinance that maybe followed at least somewhat with state statute. That'd be something I'd be interested in happening. This being a higher priority, obviously, from a time standpoint, Sean, but it's just, while I'm thinking, we just talked about it and I want to forget about it, but
Okay.
I would make a motion to authorize Sean to review the draft ordinance that your committee has come up with, Steve, and work on getting that into a format that the plan commission and council can review.
Ms. Moreau moves that Mr. Cerisi work on the new ordinance. I guess we call it the new ordinance, or solar
battery
and
energy
battery storage. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Neer. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Thank you. Next up, unsafe structures. To follow up on the unsafe building hearing from November 26th regarding the property at 205 Atkins Street. The first commitment date of December 31st, 2024 to make repairs on the roof and windows has been met. The next date will be March 31st, I believe, for getting this scrub and materials, vegetation cleaned up. Next, I have a notice of violation was sent late December to the owner of Plaza Apartments at 624 Forest Place, Steve Martin, for structural violations, along with a $200 fine for failure to file the required annual report for smoke detectors. Smoke detectors were inspected and found to be out of compliance, along with fire extinguishers and lighted exit signs. The clerk treasurer has since received payment for the fine, and I received a plan from the owner of the apartments that the roofs will be re-roofed. They'll be repaired in February. I'm optimistic the apartments will continue to be maintained and habitable. Thank you to Kevin Dante and the Marshall County Health Department for your help. The TRC did not meet in December. The Plan Commission had one hearing in December. It was tabled from November, went into January. The BZA had 2 hearings in December. I have an updated application and permit fee schedule to present to you. You all have a copy of that. The plan commission had voted favorably to recommend to the town council, so I'm here to give you a presentation this evening. Karen will publish a legal notice later, so you can vote on a revised ordinance. I'll probably end. So I'll start at the first page, which is the short section on this, printed on 2 sides, so you know, so I can save some paper. Just a little side note, I think color copies are what, 7 cents? So you know, try and keep track of everything. So on this page, it's a new fee schedule. To start with what you see printed in blue, I left off previously on last year. So I caught that. So there's vacations on here. So when something's vacated. Previously, since I left that off, we actually had something come up that was only charged $50 for, when the actual cost of that, legal notices and things, is much more, as you can see on here. So since I missed that, that's been added on here. And so is replats. $50. I'm sorry, the replat came up, not the vacation. So the replat came up. So that's to correct that. So these fees are adjusted. The actual cost came out for this year at $183.99. So the ones that are highlighted, I'm asking to go from $170 to $185. I just rounded up. So that'll cover any increase in postage and or other fees. I don't anticipate, you never know, no crystal ball, but I don't anticipate this going up in 2026, or if it does go up a little bit, postage, this should cover it. But as I think most of you are aware, our ordinance requires me to review this every year and look at it. That includes if prices go down also. I don't know if that'll happen or not, it's possible. But if postage won't, but other things may go down. But if they do, we'll review that also. So things like paper, envelopes, certainly postage, cost of publishing, these things have gone up. Hopefully that'll stabilize. I think it will. My labor cost goes up. Everything goes up a little bit. Again, it's possible they can go down, but I'll keep reviewing this every year. Of course, we all hope things will stabilize on cost. On the other page, or do you have any questions on this first page, I guess? Okay, on the back side of your paper, the vast majority of these things don't change. There are 5 things that I've been asking for $5 more for because my time has increased on these unexpectedly. Decks, carport, and open porch. Spending more and more time to start with of my time on decks. Mostly it's decks. Surprisingly, a lot of things have gone on, I'll just say, with decks that cost me time. If you want more detail, I can go into it, but specifically it's people making, in several cases, people making decks fit. Roofs, I'm going to be spending more time on roofs, I'm sure this year. It's hard to get roofs inspected in time. I anticipate that I'm going to be helping doing some of that inspection. I don't know if that's for sure or not, but I anticipate it will. And I've been spending more time working on demolitions also. Believe it or not, they've gotten a little more complicated. Those are the only things where more of my time is. And then large scale solar energy. We don't have industrial on here. Our new ordinance is going to have industrial. I don't foresee us ever having industrial in our zoning districts. But for the large scale, I can tell you now, I know this is the best guess. We haven't had it yet, but I know that's
Really low.
going to take a lot more time.
Yeah, that seems low to me.
So-
The commercial building fees still seem really low to me too. I've always thought those were low. But as we pay the county for inspection,
Yeah.
and are they a flat fee on a, like, say they have to do inspection on a commercial property that goes up in Culver? they have a flat fee they charge, or they pull out of our permit fee, or,
So the county has their fee,
uh-huh.
and this isn't, theirs isn't reflected in here, and this is ours.
Okay, so
So
they,
this is just gonna reflect what time
we don't have
I
to
may
worry
have-
about the fact that there's a cost to that county inspector as well.
Right,
Okay,
they're pulling their fee out of it too.
this is you,
This is just
really our labor and any advertising or those sorts of things. Okay.
correct. So it's anything Culver may incur, the county's also pulling their fees out as well. None of their fees are reflected in this.
Steve, I'm curious, unrelated, but fee related, if there's a way for us to, we have a lot of Terry's time on doing inspections of buildings that are required of the chief of the fire department. Is there a way to have us assess a fee for those inspections? You know, he has to go show up and leave his job and spend sometimes significant time doing those.
There's always a way. I'd have to sit down with Terry and go over that with him.
Okay, it's just something to put on your radar.
I'll talk to him about that.
Thank you.
We talk frequently.
Great.
Is there any questions I can answer? Okay,
Thank you for staying on top of this, Steve.
Steve, not on fees, but back to with Mr. Cooper's property, I had on my list of, from the last repair list, I had seen another date was March the 1st. It said exposed OSB siding to be repaired and replaced and covered by siding. Is that still something that's?
That is absolutely a typo.
Okay, all right.
That should read May.
That was May. Okay, all right. Thank you.
That is definitely a typo. That's not, yeah.
So the next one is just to remove all the vegetation.
I can tell you the original list I have says May. I just discussed that with Mr.
Okay.
Cooper. Yeah, that's not a reasonable date.
Okay, very good. Thank
So
you.
I'll get that updated and I can get you all copies to that.
Just kind of
Thank you.
cold for siding.
Yes. It'll snap and break right now.
Okay.
All right.
That's well, your
Redevelopment.
fingers.
I'm sorry.
As well. Thank you.
No. Sally, redevelopment committee.
We re-elected, or let me say that, we elected the president, vice president, secretary. Mario Esteban is staying as president. I'm remaining as vice president, and Jenny Monroe is taking over the position of secretary.
Hmm.
We had a discussion on Main Street. Susie Mahler was attended and planning on getting together with Marty, and some others are planning on getting together with the Main Street realtors, businesses, to discuss some of their needs and going from there.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Tree Commission, John?
Nothing to report. I just had a question. Have we heard about any people wanting to join tree commission?
I've had two, and I gave them the information they did not submit, and I'm gonna knock on their door again, because one was passionate about wanting to be on. The other one was very interested, so I'm trying to find out what happened there. The one I haven't been able to get a hold of, so. But if you know of anybody, we're open for business.
So where am I at with three people? Is it legit if I want to hold a meeting? There's no reason to hold a meeting right now.
No, so let's answer that question in March when I get you two more people. That fair?
All right.
All right.
Thank you for sticking with the tree commission. Jen.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Yeah.
Town manager report.
Get this down in my notes here, two live bodies.
Hey, Kevin, I may know a person.
Yeah, send them my way. More the merrier, right, John? Think. All right, let's go. LPA consulting contract. We're up and running on phase 3 of the trail for the academy. Bob and I did the scoring, so did INDOT, and we do have a contract to award. The consultant will be, the inspection will be awarded to Lockmuller Group at 92.5. They were rated and scored the best. The town portion of that, we're looking at 25% of that. So we're looking at, our commitment is $23,125 of that. If I understood correctly today, talking with Bob. This is essentially, we're launching it. So we've got to have this inspection, but it is something that I have to ask for council approval of, and we'll need signatures for the council. So I ask for a motion to approve this contract.
What's the total amount?
The total amount is $92,500.
Okay, I'll make the motion to approve.
Mr. Moreau moves to approve,
Second.
second by Mr. Sardi. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Thank you, council. I'll put this over for your signature at the end of the meeting. Winterfest is upon us. Over the town of Fest. February 7th through 9th, approximately 12 p.m. to approximately 3 p.m. on the 9th. We'll be running Winterfest, promoting family-friendly outdoor winter activities, local shopping, dining, fun for all ages. Right, fun for all ages. 250 people over the course of the weekend. Town Park, Main Street, Lakeshore. Ice sculpture tour will be along Main Street and Lakeshore. Don't miss it. Depot Building. I think we have somebody in here for our contact. We are pending coffee, and a beer garden. Is that still pending?
John Rocky is going to host the beer garden through the Culver Coffee Company. So that's pretty much all set. And I brought the drawing of that if you needed to see. That wasn't attached to her forms, but if you guys needed to see that, I have that here. And I talked to Wayne today about it. I think he signed off on it.
I got Wayne's signature. All right. Well, it's going to be fun. We got a chili cook-off and a polar plunge. I might actually just go take a dip this year. You guys want to really have a sight for sore eyes. I asked for the council's approval for the special permit for Winterfest.
So moved.
It's been moved by Mr. Sardi. Is there a second?
I'm gonna abstain here, seeing as how my wife is the executive director of the Visitor Center, and this is a visitor center event.
Oh, okay, fine.
I will second Sally's motion.
Seconded by Ms. Monroe. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign. And Mr. Gray abstains.
We will get your signature, Mr. Clevenger, at the end of the meeting. Again, some updates for you. Dunes work on South Main is completed on the sewer line. We're going to be coming back the other way with the water line, it sounds like. So we'll have some disruption coming up. Bob's been staying on top of it. They did a pretty decent job of getting it closed up on a timely fashion. Appreciate the work out there. It is flying along if you haven't been out there. Some updates for you. The water, for the water plant improvements. We have got the electrical with Midwestern. They're reviewing it currently. We should be getting plans. Bob and I will review the plans and we'll start developing the bid package for that. So we'll be going out to bid. We're hoping, nothing's for sure on this, but we're hoping to get this out there by February, end of February. So I'll give you an update as the time comes up. Wastewater, Scott Seipel from Midwestern got information that from some different consulting that he wanted to do. And we should have some plans and numbers soon. And Scott's very meticulous if you don't know him. So whatever we get will be in proper order. It will probably be pretty ready to move when we get it in our hands. So Bob and I will review that. We're hoping again for an early March date on that. We're definitely ready and the funding's there. So we're kind of excited about that. Over the week, we hosted Verigy, who came and spoke to us. They did a survey across town to see where we can maybe save some money. One of the areas obviously identified was the wastewater plant with some, what I would consider probably medium scale to large scale solar located at the plant itself. Maybe some opportunities at the water plant. Bob expressed that he didn't want to see panels out where the old Benders was. But a nice surprise was that Verigy informed us that there is possibilities for some savings with the meter project, with the water project that we've got going on. I will wait to hear back from them, as well as some different ideas on the water plant as well. So I talked to him today. He needs some information from the wastewater plant. When I get those specs in from Midwestern, I'll get those over to him. But we should be hearing something back from him in probably a month or two. And I look forward to that. There may be an opportunity there.
Is there a
yeah.
time frame on the software that, or do we have to wait for the financing? The software for the meter reads,
We're using the meter. With the meter software, we don't have a specific time.
because we're still talking about the software that does live reads, right? If there's a leak or something.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm wondering about. Okay.
And there are features that can be turned on or off on that, if I understood Bob correctly in talking with him. And one of them is the leak detect.
Mhm.
But
So those that go on all meters though, not just new ones, I assume?
I believe they want to replace.
well,
I would defer to Bob.
I would defer to Bob. I think my conversation with Bob is we're going to target the ones that are in most need of it, work our way through those. There are some that I think are not in need, and I don't know where his decision is. I mean, it's a financial.
It's not one of
institution,
those things where you install this new software that can read live leaks on an old meter. It has to be a new meter.
That question, I'm gonna honestly, Jay, I'm gonna defer to Bob on,
Okay.
because he's more versed in it, and any answer I give you will be speculative based on conversations with him. So,
Okay.
yeah, I don't think so. My answer would be no. You can't do it with the old meters, but you possibly can. So,
Okay.
we'll see. That's something I can definitely take forward. It's a good question. Last thing on the list for the long-winded town manager of this town, documentary. Had a great conversation on Friday. Confirmation of a shooting day for, we're aiming for May 5th. I'll have the confirmation by probably last week of March. I'll have that date solid, but really like the May 5th date. Think it's going to put us in our best time frame window. We'll catch some of the Academy parent too, probably in there. It's a 1 day. It's a pretty intense shooting. As you can imagine, 12-hour day. They'll start off with interviews. They want 3 interviewees. Mark DeMore was identified as one in the initial conversations. I'm going to put up the idea of, I'm going to approach Jenna Workman from downtown, kind of balancing our business, both ends of our business district. And for some reason, they think the town manager should be on there, but they can find somebody better looking, I'm sure. I've also asked Jeff Kinney and John Houghton to serve as advisors. Nobody knows the town's history, I think, better, and they're well versed in it. And they'll be an active part. They're going to have an opportunity during a pre-production meeting in the first week of April to discuss and work with the writers. The great thing about this is we're going to have the final say in the script. We should have that producer kickoff meeting in the first week of April. And the first draft of the script should be 2 weeks before shooting. So we're probably looking at the 3rd week of April that we'll get together. We'll be able to improve the script. Once they shoot the B footage, they send it to us for editing, for advice. So we have quite a bit of artistic directive over that film. So we're going to be able to give input, but probably going to look pretty good. Once they get this thing produced, it's in our hands immediately and we can start using it. We have the copyright. We can put it on our websites. We can hit the visitor center. We can get it with Marshall County Tourism and get that out there. The airing date, they're looking at July or August. They'll start running it and it will be ran nationally for that year. So it'll run from probably up to about July 2026, if I understood the conversation correctly.
Should we
Great
have
opportunity.
any sort of like small committee review script Like, are you?
I think so, Jenny. I think I want to put together, that's why I contacted Jeff and John from a content perspective, but I also like some artistic guys that's not mine. So I will entertain that as we get closer.
I mean, it gets tricky because there's a difference between script and then actually someone, performing it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think they
So, like,
really
if
want
I
the
had to
interview.
do the type of videos you guys do at the store, I'd be just a disaster with
Yeah.
that.
They
Even
want
if the script was great.
They want those interviews to be natural. They don't want
Yeah.
them pre-written and scripted. But I would suggest that if we can drum up the ghosts of the past, some of the people that worked on the Stellar production, some of those advice, and some people that are more artistically with the social media than I am, maybe get involved in it. I'll defer to anybody that wants to volunteer to run that. That's where we're at, and happy. That's never gets down. Getting the RFPs ready to go, and should have those in front of you by hopefully next meeting in February. So good news on the piers. Just waiting for the formality of it. But I got 3 parties interested in that. That's the one that's got my eye right now. So, and that's it for that. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Karen, your report, please.
I have 4 claims over 2,500 for your approval. Marshall County Sheriff's Department, 11,576 for dispatch fees. Midwestern Engineers, $19,410, and that is for their work on the well construction. Miller Insurance Group, $26,710, and that is for workman's comp, which I have a couple of things to say about that in a moment. And then BFIS, and that's $41,033, and that is for the Fire Lake Service Award Program that we began last year. So we've got, I think it's 3 years of big bills at the beginning of the year, and then that will subside once we're established with that.
I'm gonna have a motion for claims over $2,500.
So moved.
Been moved by Mr. Monroe,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Sardi. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign.
With reference to Miller Insurance Group on the workman's comp, Joe Stiles came down and explained that the increase that we are seeing in our workman's comp policy is mainly due to the increase in salaries that we provide to our employees. Our experience rating is very, very good. And so I want to recognize our employees for taking the extra steps to making sure they're operating in a safe manner. And just their attitude towards safety. So that
Pay our people better and they up the insurance rate?
well, because if it's workman's comp, so if they get injured,
Yeah, it's based on.
Yeah,
their
okay,
salary.
yeah, okay.
yeah, so.
All right, I can buy that.
So, but
Like that, and figure that budget out, don't we?
But at the end of the day, it's, I mean, it could be much worse if we had employees that were acting.
We haven't had accidents and
So,
Great time, curious.
the second thing I had, tomorrow morning, Kathy, and I forget her last name, from, HR, New Focus, Human HR is coming, to meet with Kevin and I to start discussions on, the new personal policy manual. I did find my marked up version from probably 2 years ago when Ginny was working on it with our department heads. And so we'll keep you posted on the progress of that.
Yeah, Lakeshore Drive project. We want to talk about this.
I'll get you that too. Last meeting, we had Vicki Brown come and speak to us about Dustin's Place, and you all authorized me to identify $18,000 to support them. I'm going to propose that we take that out of the Riverboat Fund. Right now, there's about 54,000 in it. So that would be my recommendation if I could have a motion, if that's able to do.
I motion that Karen pull funds from the Riverboat Fund for Dustin's Place contribution from the town of Culver.
Been moved by Mr. Monroe,
Second.
second by Mr. Nair. Or was it you? Yeah, Mr. Nair. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign.
to the Lakeshore Drive project.
Yeah, I need to
That-
make a correction. Actually, I said that was 80. So the total cost estimate of the project, 1,349,081. The community crossing is going to cover 1,011,000 of that. And then our coverage, I took the wrong number. I apologize for that. Town commitment, 25% will be 337,270.5. Of which Karen has identified. I handed you sheets that break it down in terms of the commitment. We've budgeted, as you can see, in 2025 with MVH, the LRS, paving, sewer, and stormwater. You can see where the money's coming from. And again, Karen's hard work on this one. The additional funding will be the 46,950 that will bring us to the 187,800. Our totals come out and it makes for a nice, neat budget in terms of funding. Yes. Yeah. And so Karen went through about 2 or 3 scenarios, Bob and I, but this is the one that was the most appropriate for the funding and then the way that she had budgeted. So if there's any questions, I would direct them totally to Karen because that's what I do when it comes to numbers. Sorry. But I apologize for, I think I provided you with a bad number there with the 84. I was calculating up 300. Sorry.
All right.
Yeah, any questions on the Lakeshore
No.
Drive project? Okay. Back to my list. November and December financial reports were finally distributed. It's been a couple of months. So I would just ask for your approval of those reports.
Make a motion to approve those reports.
A second.
Mr. Chardy moves to accept the reports. Ms. Monroe seconds. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
And as I stated in my clerk's report, if you have questions about any of those, if you want to see information in a different form, if you question, where the money comes from or why is it going out this way, please come and talk to me. I'm happy to sit down and explain it. Any questions that you have. It takes time to figure it all out, and even after in my 14th year, there's still questions out there. So just please come and talk to me. I'm happy to explain. One other thing on the dunes, we did get pay app request number 4, and that is for $153,172.73. Scott Seipel reviewed it and he has vetted it all and approved it. And so I would ask council to approve the pay app and approve the council president's signature on that pay app. We're trying to make this process airtight and through many vetting processes so that when we get audited, hopefully they won't find us.
I'll make the motion to approve Karen paying out $153,172.73 and having the president of the town council sign off on the pay app.
Mr. Monroe makes the motion. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Neer. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
We have 2 more motions associated with said payout. So the second one I'm going to ask for is that you approve Exhibit B, which is the disbursement request form from the contract construction account for payout at 4. So you have council approval and direct the council president to sign the request.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Monroe,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Shardy. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Exhibit C, which is the request for deposit to reimbursement account request number. Ask that you would approve that and approve the council president's signature on said request.
I'll make a motion to that effect.
Second it.
Mr. Shardy moves to the effect and Mr. Neer seconds. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, so what just happened there was that pay apps come in, they get inspected by Midwestern. So their charges that they're using for the Ready project, those go to Shannon and they get vetted. The pay apps get vetted by Midwestern. So Midwestern sends them to Shannon for approval. She sends them off to Ready. Ready approves them and then sends us the money. Essentially, what we do is the construction account essentially pays for it to the vendor, essentially. The Ready money comes back to us and we put it in the reimbursement account. And essentially, we give permission to the reimbursement account to be used for the construction fund. Essentially, that's the exhibit C. B pays the CMD, the contractor, and it all comes out in the wash. It's an elaborate system. So there we go.
And I need to ask council to approve the bond for the redevelopment commission. The redevelopment commission holds a bond for their members. So if I could have a motion to approve that bond.
A motion.
Mr. Mayor moves the motion, makes the motion. The chair seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.
And then the final thing that I have is conflict of interest statements. If you have any statements that you need to submit, give those to me. Bring them before the council. That's all I have.
I have one addition to the clerk's report. I've examined all the last 12 months of the checkbooks and other items, and Karen has been absolutely correct in every month, and I'd like to thank her for her efforts, but every month is good.
We're good with that.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Okay. Attorney's report. I don't have anything for you this evening. Okay.
Oh, but since he does, can we authorize Sean to add, looking at a vacant building? Are you guys comfortable with
Sure.
adding that to the zoning ordinance that you're already working on?
You want to mess
Authorize
with
him
that?
to, because that's gonna cost money for him to do the work on that. If we're okay with that, I would make that motion.
Mr. Rowe.
Clarify what that is. I'm sorry. I did.
Basically authorizing Sean to work on a vacant building ordinance as part of the zoning ordinance updates that he's already working on, which we would understand if that would extend the cost of the zoning ordinance updates, which I think we're under contract.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Okay.
basically, I want to authorize the expense of that if Sean's willing.
Ms. Monroe moves to authorize Mr. Cerisi to do the vacant building ordinance. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Shardy. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank
Basically for commercial buildings, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, fine.
yeah. We do have some residential empty buildings too, though, I would say that.
You got mixed use up there, so it becomes a sticky wicket. So you want to sort through that with us.
Yeah.
Expertise and advice on that area.
It was
and
something
fees,
we
scheduling.
talked to Jeanette about at one point with the unsafe building committee, that we had some properties that were just vacant that weren't necessarily blighted. And the ones of discussion today that we really got into at the work session was, we have a lot of empty buildings on Main Street that have been empty for a long time. And we want to look at, is there something we can do that,
Incentivizes people to put them to productive use.
yeah,
I like
yeah,
that.
from a
Right.
zoning standpoint or ordinance standpoint.
Sure.
And I know Jeanette had looked at state code at one point because we were talking about some of the vacant residential properties as well, but we just need to dive into that. at some
Yeah,
point.
Yorktown has done something similar to this, so there's an example there.
Yeah.
Apples to apples, but yet there's no comparative.
Yeah, you're getting at the one that we talked about today, mainly was Main Street.
Council issues, Mr. Neer,
You don't have any issues.
Ms. Monroe,
Nope. I don't think
Ms. Rishardi.
Nothing.
I have nothing. Motion to adjourn.
so moved.
It's been moved by Mr.
Second.
Rowe. Second,
Second by
Ms. Rishardi. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We're adjourned.